If you're a jazz beginner and you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to start, this is the album that I think you should listen to, and here's why. Chet Baker Sings is a fantastic gateway into the genre of jazz, and when I first listened to it, it was game-changing for me. Let's dive into some reasons as to why this album is so good for beginners to listen to. Number one, it shows that jazz can be simple in a very beautiful and profound way. So many of the tunes on this record aren't overly complicated to listen to, and they don't involve, a million chord changes a second or, fast tempos, etc. So it's a great place for beginners to kind of dip their toes into the genre of jazz. And a lot of the solos that Chet Baker plays are very, very simple, and they're full of just good jazz language that's simple and really melodic. So overall, it's a very accessible album to listen to, and it's more on the easy listening side of jazz to me, and it's just a great way for beginners to step into this genre without overwhelming their ears, basically. Number two reason why this is a great gateway album for jazz beginners is that it has lyrics. So if you've lived your whole life listening to pop, rock, or any kind of genre with lyrics in it, transitioning to jazz is going to be a little strange, But this album, all the songs have lyrics and, vocals, so it makes it more of a relatable kind of album to a beginner jazz listener than, say, Giant Steps by John Coltrane. The lyrics of the standards on the album are very endearing and sentimental, and the way Chet Baker delivers them is just so emotional, smooth, and comforting. I think it's very important for jazz beginners to establish an emotional connection to the genre, and this album is a great way to start that connection to the music. Okay, third reason kind of goes hand in hand with the second reason, and it's that learning the melody to these jazz standards on the album becomes so much easier when you listen to the lyrics and vocals. It establishes a connection between the lyrics and the melody, and oftentimes I experience this a lot even now. I'm learning a jazz standard, and I'm listening to a non-vocal version, so an instrumental version of the song, and I'm like, what is the melody? Because I've heard so many players play this way, so many players play this way, and if you listen to the actual lyrics and vocals, just plain, unembellished, you're gonna understand. Sorry about that, there was just a silly car horn. To continue my point, the tunes on this record, Chet Baker sings them in a very unembellished way, so he sings the melody very straight. So when you hear these songs and the lyrics, that's how the melody sounds. And if you listen to a an instrumental version of jazz, oftentimes the players are going to interpret the melody in a different way from the original, but Chet Baker sings them in the original fashion. So it's such a great place to start learning the melodies to these iconic standards. Okay, fourth and final reason I have is that all of the songs on this record are basically standards, and they're played so often at jam sessions and just everywhere. So this album introduces you to so many great standards to begin with, and I'm gonna flash all the really famous ones that people play a lot right now. These are all fantastic tunes to learn, and it's made easier by Chet Baker's vocals. So overall, Chet Baker is just one of the coolest, or was one of the coolest jazz cats on the planet, and Chet Baker Sings is a terrific record. And I really recommend, if you're a jazz beginner, go transcribe one of the solos. I think, but not for me, I Fall in Love Too Easily. Those are two great solos to transcribe because the songs are pretty slow and pretty chill. So definitely check those out. And I think that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like the content and want to see more jazz-related videos in the future. And I hope you have a fantastic day.